welcome to today's video. It is a makeup tutorial. Before we start the makeup tutorial, I really wanted to go ahead and get my hair in place and just tidy it up a little bit. So I landed up straightening it a little bit before. I usually tend to do this after, but I kind of just wanted to look a little bit better groomed at the start of today's makeup tutorial. Let's dive right into it. I'm starting out with the e.l.f. Hydrating Face Primer. This is not available on Nicka as far as I know. I actually bought this from America a while back. It is a fantastic product. It moisturizes your face and it works as a primer. I feel like I had trust issues on this day, so I went ahead and applied some NYX Honey Dew Me Up because I really wanted the dewy skin, fresh wala feel to come across in the entire makeup look. And like I said, I was clearly facing trust issues on this day because I went ahead and used some MAC Strobe Cream packaging, but you can't see any name because I've literally kissed out this product so much. I absolutely love it, and I have 2 more of these that I've purchased and just kept in my stock because it's such a good product. Whether you have dry or oily skin, this is absolutely great to use along with your foundation or just before your foundation. You can go all over your face with this as well, but I only tend to use it in specific areas of my face. For the foundation today, I'm using the NARS Natural Radiant Longwear Foundation. This is in the shade Barcelona. I love this foundation. I think I picked this one up from Dubai or from LA. I don't remember, and I'm not exactly sure whether this is available in India anywhere. I will do a double check and add the details of it in the info box if I find it anywhere. This is a really good foundation, but unfortunately I did realize the shade match wasn't really suiting me as much on camera and even off camera. This used to be a really fantastic shade for me, but ab mujhe realize ho raha hai that it is about 1 or 2 shades a little bit lighter. So I said, okay, I'm still going to go ahead with it. I'm going to apply it. I'm going to figure and correct this over the course of the next couple of steps. If that ever does happen to you, remember it can be corrected. Just make sure you go ahead and blend it everywhere. I also took this into my neck. Don't forget about your neck, guys. Please, foundation ke time pe paying attention to your neck is very important. So next I use the L'Oreal Paris True Match Super Blendable Foundation. I use this in the shade 7. Now this is a tad bit darker for me. So this mixed up with the previous NARS foundation just landed up working as a fantastic combination. It gave me that full coverage. You'll see that suddenly my face looks a little flat, which is basically what you want, right? When you're working with a full coverage foundation, you don't want to see the contours and you don't want to see the highlights. You want to make sure your face is completely covered. Drag things into your hairline, make sure it's super nicely blended out, and please make sure you don't forget about your neck. That's very important. Another little tip I want to give you about foundation is avoid dragging. Try and blend with taps. That's just much easier if you're working with a brush. And then of course, if you're in specific areas, you need to do a tiny bit of dragging, I understand, but just try and avoid it as much as possible. Let's just try that for the sake of skincare, you know what I mean? By the way, how cute is this wake up and makeup mug of mine? I found this at the back of my cupboard while doing a cleanup recently, and I put all of my face brushes inside it. Before concealer, I'm using the Bobbi Brown Dark Peach Corrector with a brush. I'm just applying a little bit of this on my under eyes. Around this time, I did change the lighting up somewhere. You will see that switch happen at some point. I wanted to kind of make sure the lighting was absolutely perfect for you, so I did switch it up a couple of times. Then I added on the Benefit Going Cakeless Concealer in the shade number 5, and I blended this in with the corrector around my under eyes as well as on my eyelids. This really gives you that perfect conceal as well as lift wala vibe, which you absolutely want to make sure that your under eyes look flawless. I just think that this is a combination I really like, and if you're using something like a creamy product like I was using in the case of the corrector, you want to make sure that your concealer is a liquid, because a cream on cream doesn't really work for someone like me who has dry skin. If you have oily skin, I guess that could work for you, but I prefer liquid concealers, so I make sure that I always use that texture to completely conceal and highlight and give my face that little lifted, elevated feel when I'm concealing all of my under eye pigmentation. To set it all in place, I use the Maybelline Fit Me Loose Finishing Powder in 25 medium. Oh my god, no matter how many high-end loose powders I own, you guys, I keep going back to this. Someday into the distant future, inshallah, when I actually start to create products of my own, this is the kind of benchmark I want to get to, that even though it is a sasta, sundar, tikau product, I want to come back to something like this all the time. And even though I have dry skin, I feel like this works for me absolutely flawlessly. So while I'm setting this in, so far everything on the face has been really great. Just a heads up, this makeup tutorial gets a little dramatic in the time to come. You'll know why I'm saying that. Okay, let's go on to the rest of the face for now. For the contour, I'm using the Kylie Cosmetics Bronze Medium Bronzer Stick. This blends really nicely. Just make sure you don't leave it on too long. Like once you apply it, start blending it within a few seconds. So I applied it on my cheekbones on both sides and started blending it, and then I did the same thing for my jaw and then I started blending it. I'm not going to apply it all over the face and then go all into blending because varna wo cheekbone wala area would completely dry out for this product. I used OFRA's Lip Plumper to go ahead and plump up my lips so that they look a little bit more glamorous for this makeup look. It kind of didn't work today. I have used it a few times and it has worked then, so that left me a little bit confused, full disclosure. Then I used the Givenchy Prismassage Taffeta's Caramel shade for the bronzer. This really adds that definition to the way the contour can be on your face. You can clearly see the difference on both the sides. It just adds that depth and that definition, and it does it beautifully because it's a really finely milled pressed powder and it's just stunning. The formula is really nice and creamy and sets any cream product in place really beautifully. I wouldn't use this for a glam look by itself. I would typically use this over a cream product. If I was using it by itself, it would be a very natural bronzer. It wouldn't give me the kind of definition that it is now giving me. Together, it just makes for a really fab combination, the cream as well as the powder. For the blush, I'm using Estee Lauder's Pink Tease. This is a lovely pink. What I'm actually doing is tapping it onto my face and not really dragging it, not really fully loaded applying it. The reason I'm doing this is because I have a very colorful makeup look that I'm aiming to do on my eyes. So I want to keep the blush really subtle and then come back and build it up a little later if needed. This is a really nice formula again, really easy to use, works really well on my skin even though I have dry skin. For the brows, I'm using the Maybelline New York Fashion Brow Duo Shaper. I started out with using the pencil end of this, but this product has sort of dried out. I think this is going to land up in my empties box. It did give me a little bit of pigmentation on the brows, but not as much as it quite used to. So I switched up to the Nicka Brow Girl Brow Definer in Bewitched Chestnut shade, and I really got a lot of pigmentation packed into it with this one, which is really great to use, and I love that about it. Then I went back to the Maybelline New York product and used the powder end of it with a little spongy tip just to try and see if I can get a little bit of definition on the brows over here. I did get some again, but it's not like it used to be. I don't know whether it's because this product is a little bit old or I'm not sure what it is, but it didn't give me exactly what I wanted in terms of setting things down. So I went into the Givenchy Mr. Bow Groom and with a transparent brow gel, I just set everything in place and then I got the kind of finish that I wanted. Now this, my friends, is where things get a little bit dramatic, so brace yourselves. Basically, I started out using the Jeffree Star Blue Blood eyeshadow palette, which I really like. The formula is really great, the products are really great, but for the first time I noticed a hell lot of fallout from the blue shade on like my face in the area below my eyes, obviously. It got worse. Basically, once I put the blue eyeshadow in place, I pulled out the NK Birthday Cake eyeshadow palette, which is 9 really colorful shades. I took the middle yellow orangey shade and started giving myself that on both sides of the blue. I thought that this would look a certain way in my head. Clearly, that did not completely transcend on my face, and I was a little bit stuck and concerned on how I could make repairs. I couldn't. Basically, I had to go ahead and clean the whole thing up and reapply the concealer foundation, set everything back in place. And then I said, okay, I'm going to try it a little bit differently. I'm going to do the whole eye yellow first. So I started out with using that same yellow pigment from the NK Makeup shadow palette and I applied it all over my eyes. I really built it up this time. In fact, I even tried to spray some setting spray on the brush to try and give it more pigment, much more pigment, because I thought it would be easier and faster, but that did not happen. So lesson learned, not trying that again with this particular palette. But I just kind of kept adding a couple of layers to make that orange pop up as much as possible. It was showing really nicely, like in person. It wasn't showing as much on camera, but you guys will see how it turns out towards the end, obviously. Then I took the pink, the warmer hot pink from the same palette and went into my lower lash line. What I got down to was the L'Oreal Paris Infallible Paints Liquid Eyeliner. This is in a beautiful turquoise shade, and I thought I would make it a little bit graphic because I basically wanted a colorful eye. Now the felt pen was working absolutely properly on my hand, but for some reason it wasn't working as smoothly on my eyes. This pen is being put aside permanently from my collection. I went ahead and made that little graphic, detail, the definition, the outline that I wanted. It was easy on the right, but on the left it was a little bit of a nightmare, I'm not going to lie. Which is where I basically, to my rescue, came the Rimmel London Wonder Swipe. This is actually a 2-in-1 liner to eyeshadow, but I only wanted to use it as a liner. This is in the shade Crave Me, which is a blue purplish shade. And I went ahead and gave my eyes the definition, the outline that I wanted for that shape, for that little bit of a pop, a little bit graphic, something different. But then, even though I was happy with the pigmentation and the product use, I realized that my shapes had gone a little bit too amiss. I mean, I know they can't be twins because I'm human and I'm not a machine, but ye kuch zyada hi alag ho gaya tha. So I went ahead and cleaned my left eye out. The strive for perfection, you guys. I'm trying my best. You guys, a lot of effort goes into creating that perfect makeup look, and when there's so much color involved, hota hi hai. So you can see I basically ended up doing the whole thing over, and even though they don't really match just as much, at least they're close. 19-20 ka fark I will gladly take. So I basically had like orange, blue and pink on my eyes, which was the color combination I wanted from the start. I then went in with Renee's sketch pen, like it's called the Sketch Liner Pen. Gave myself a little bit of a winged liner that basically tucks into the blue-purple outline on the side. And with the help of Benefit's Bad Gal Bang, the Kajal pencil, I added some definition to my lower lash line as well. Now I felt like, okay, I'm finally close to getting something that I want. I used the Givenchy eyelash primer to make sure I get really nice dramatic lashes, and then went in with L'Oreal Paris's False Lash Superstar Mascara. On top of which, I went ahead and added Glowmiere Beauty's it's called expensive, I'm not saying they're expensive named false lashes. I was finally in a place that I was liking when it came to my eye makeup. For the highlighter, I used Benefit's Girl Meets Pearl, which is currently my favorite liquid highlighter right now. And then I topped it up with the Shimmer Brick from Colorbar. This reminds me a lot of the Bobbi Brown product. I feel like that was definitely an inspiration for them, but they did make a great dupe. This is in the shade Rose Glow 001, and it does give you a really nice glow that is super buildable. I went ahead and applied Huda Beauty Power Bullet's first kiss on my lips, after which I realized that I could add just a tad bit of glow to the inner corners. So with the same highlighter, I went ahead and applied it to the inner corners of my eye as well. And my look was finally ready. It was finally ready. I was happy with how it turned out. Definitely a little bit different from what I started out and imagined, but hey, I was happy with it. So I'm gonna keep practicing for sure. I really hope you guys enjoyed this makeup tutorial. Let me know what you thought of it in the comments below. It took me a very long time to shoot it, so I really hope you guys did enjoy it. I love you all so much. Don't forget to hit the bell button before you go. I will see you in the next one. I love you so much. Bye.